What's going on, guys? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604 and welcome back to the showroom here in Assetto Corsa. So today we're going to be talking about the DRM Revival Pack mod. So for those not aware, the DRM Revival Pack is arguably one of the best mods ever for R-Factor. So this came quite a while back for R-Factor and it was almost universally loved. And about 2 months ago, this is June of 2018, and about 2 months ago we got the pack for Assetto Corsa. So there was, of course, a lot of hype around it. Would it live up to its predecessor? And the pack was fantastic. You can go back and watch my review or other people review it. And it came out for Assetto Corsa, and it was fantastic in a lot of ways. However, a very, very steep learning curve. It was difficult to sort of get a handle on these cars. What I was finding, and what most people were finding, was that under braking, if you had cold brakes and cold tires, this thing was almost impossible to get around a track. For example, Spa. Going into turn 1 at Spa was chaos off the start finish. So the team behind DRM has listened and they've updated this. This is version 1.11. And they've listened to the purchasers of this product and have improved the tire and brake temperature sensitivity, which is awesome. And it's actually not just that. They've improved a whole bunch of things. I'll put the changelog in the description to this video, but in short, they have changed a lot, particularly on this car. So they don't use brand names, but you can see this is clearly a BMW, and yeah, it's improved a lot. So we have many different levels of this pack. There's this car, which is about 430 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken, and the cars go on up well into the 700 plus horsepower range. So you have a wide variety of cars. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump out on track, my unofficial test track, that is Road America, and we're going to spin these guys on the, or take these guys for a spin in version 1.11 and just see how much they really have improved. We'll do it in VR so we can check out the interiors, because in a lot of cases with this pack update, they have improved the interiors dramatically. So this is available to us. You can go through Race Department is probably the easiest way. It'll cost you €15 to buy the pack. You get, I can't remember how many cars, but it's quite a lot of cars and a couple different versions of several of them. So yeah, very cool pack. As I said, if you watched my review earlier, I actually really like it. I enjoy the learning curve, but I can understand why it was frustrating for so many people, because it's definitely not a jump in and, you know, kick butt in this car. But if you're looking for something, if you're kind of tired of the GT4, GT3 series where you just jump in and you're immediately passable, if not good, if you want something that you need to learn and understand and work with the tune on, this could be the car for you. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's head out to Road America and we will test drive 3 of these cars. We'll test drive something in the 400 horsepower range, something in the 500 horsepower range, and something in the 700 horsepower range, and just see how they stack up and kind of render a verdict on whether or not I would endorse this pack based on version 1.11. Alright, let's jump out there. Alright guys, so here we are on board the RMT 1001. This is the BMW we were just looking at in showroom view. So wonderfully styled interior here, very Spartan, as I like to say, very simple looking interior. And again, we're here at Road America, so we got the stick shift enabled. I am going to fumble my way through heel toe shifting, first gear, clutch out. So worth noting as well that they added a different set of tires. It's called the Endurance set, and what this represents actually is it's less sensitive. It's going to last you longer, and it's less sensitive to temperature changes. So car's still feeling pretty slippy here on lap 1. But a beautiful looking interior of this car. And I love those sounds. Just really cautious in my approach here. Still have minimal tire temperature. Just even there. I was slipping coming out of that corner even though I wasn't at that high a speed. Whoa, 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 whoa. Into the wall. Into the wall. So obviously, these endurance tires are still not good enough for somebody of my driving skill. But let's wait and see what happens when we get full temperature. We're going to go around a long right-hander in a second here that should nicely build up temperature. I would have lost a lot of it on that wreck there. I have a feeling Alex at the extra mile would get an absolute blast out of this pack. Him being the unofficial king of oversteer. It's like the Chris Harris of our sim racing community. All right. Should be nicely. Yeah, it's feeling a bit more stuck in now. Tough left-hander here. Let's see how she handles it. Nice. Okay, I think we're good. So let's have a quick lap. It won't be that fast, but let's see if we can keep it on the road at least with a decent amount of speed. Down into 4th gear. Past the start finish to start our first quick lap. And absolutely a different animal on these endurance tires. Yeah, it feels much, much more controllable once these things are up to temperature. I might not even wreck on this lap, who knows? Yeah, I felt a massive difference there. That last time through the Corvette underpass, I just felt like I was sliding along the track. This one feels much more stuck in now. I really, really would endorse this one. If you get a chance to test drive this, I think this would be a really fantastic mod for a lot of people. I don't really have the driving skill to push this thing anywhere near its limits, but if understeer is your thing, this could be a great, great mod. Sounds awesome, looks awesome, and drives pretty darn good. Nicely done to the team. And yeah, just a hint of oversteer. Very, very nicely done. I'm actually really liking this now. Like I said, I'm not really the guy to push this to its limits. But for what I can do, this is pretty darn good. Alright, one more lap. We'll try and find a bit more traction here, or try and push ourselves a little more. Try and find the edge of the traction is what I meant to say. And I will get that cursor off the screen. Sorry about that. Lots of throttle modulation required. Again, this is not a GT4 style car where you just kind of jump in and mat it. This one takes some finesse. Whoop, too wide there. However, held on. Unlike the previous version where I would have been somewhere over in the infield section next to these RVs. Alright, gonna finish up this lap, guys, and then move on to the second car. See if we can break these rear tires loose. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yes. And even a guy like me can control that oversteer. Or can he? Just barely he can. Alright guys, that's gonna do it. Wrapping up this lap, and then we will jump into the... can't remember what they call it. It's the Ford. Very, very enjoyable in this BMW though. I enjoyed that lap a lot. Alright, let's jump into the Ford, guys. Alright guys, so here we are on board the Zack Speed Ford. Woo! Looking forward to this one. Alright, so I mentioned there was sort of tiers of horsepower, and this is kind of in the mid-range, where I think we're talking somewhere in the 500 horsepower kind of range. Wonderful, wonderful. And we are away. Also running the endurance tires here. And we're going to take it very, very easy until we get some heat in these tires. Short shifted there. And it feels like we're driving on ice right now, but I expect that to change in about 1 minute's time. I'd make a strong recommendation for tire blankets in this car if you're going to race it. And second gear around this left-hander here. And it's a very nice feeling car, actually. Tremendous sound, actually. You can hear that turbo just working overtime there. All kinds of wastegate noises and whatnot. This pack probably will be not remembered for this, but I think it's some of the best sounds of any mod. I mean, with respect to a lot of the other modding teams out there, I think they've just absolutely crushed this. Alright, I think the car's about as stuck in as it'll ever get. So the next lap will be fast. And by fast, I mean fast by 604 standards. So not really fast. Yes. This one probably feels good faster than the BMW even. And we are away. Up the hill, holding third. Fourth gear now. Will we hit fifth? Only just. Probably a second gear corner in retrospect. Down into second for what is, in my opinion, the toughest corner on the track. Not even room for a girlfriend in here. Shame. This one feels a lot heavier. The braking distance is pushed way, way back versus the BMW. And still a bit of understeer to be tuned out. Yeah, definitely understeer. In addition to the on-throttle oversteer you have to contend with. So again, these things are a handful, but you could treat it as a learning curve. If you've ever complained that, you know, lobbies are filled with GT3 cars or something like that, it's because they're so easy to drive by comparison, whereas something like this DRM Revival pack is definitely not. Yes. Oh, pitched myself off the track there. Got a little bumpy. And just very, very slow approaches to these corners for me. And cautious exits. What a wonderful, wonderful car. So second gear would have served me best last lap, so that's what we'll do here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nice little four-way slide there. I wore bare feet to drive today. Not a good idea when heel-toe shifting. And up through the Corvette overpass. Absolutely fantastic. When this car works, it is tremendously rewarding. And I say that, and I put it into the grass. So I think in summary, guys, these endurance, we'll try one more car after this, but I think these endurance cars, endurance tires, pardon me, really, really work nicely. I love it. I love it. We'll try the Porsche after this, which is 700 plus horsepower and heavy, so it's going to be a real challenge here at Road America. Alright, finishing up the final lap here. Stock speed, a real treat here as part of the DRM Revival pack. Right on. Loving it. Loving it. Whew, that was a treat. Alright, next car. Alright, guys. So here we are. On board the Porsche. Whoops. Stalled it. On board the Porsche. I will get rid of that cursor. Sorry, guys. On board the Porsche. 775 horsepower-ish. And almost nothing at the low end, but once those turbos get spooled up. So I'm going to short shift until we have some sort of temperature in the tires. But even in second gear, this thing is just ferocious. That's just a lot of horsepower. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, gotta take it real slow here. Feels like I have almost zero grip, even compared to the BMW and the Ford. But you can see that incredible straight line speed. It is an absolute rocket. And first gear into a slow left-hander here. One of the few cars I drive which actually uses the first gear. It's generally a forgotten notion. Understeer, understeer, understeer all day. Wow. Alright, so same thing with the last two cars, guys. We're gonna try and induce some oversteer around this long right-hander. See if we can't build the tire temp. Ugh. Third gear now. You can hear that power plant just working overtime. Again, close to 800 horsepower. This thing is just a straight line rocket. Of which I have no control over under braking. Holy cow. Handful. Fully a handful. Hopefully we can save this. I'm not loving this right now, I gotta be honest with you. Could just be my driving style. But there's just very little pleasure to me in the arm wrestle that's going on with this car right now. Looks and sounds tremendous, don't get me wrong, and it's an exciting car in terms of straight line speed. But if you can't corner it at all, it's not for me, for sure. And yes, I'm being very timid here. Ah, come on. It's entirely possible that all the time lost in corners will be made up in the straight line, given the incredible straight line speed of this thing. But I just don't know how you could win a race with this. Unless you happen to get a perfect launch out of a corner. But I generally try and do my passing under braking, and it just wouldn't be possible in this thing, I don't think. Starting to feel it a bit more now. Yeah, this is just not for me, guys. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think this I think they probably have made nice improvements to the kind of lower class cars, but based on my sample group is only one, granted, but I just see the same thing people were complaining about in version 1.0 of the DRM Revival pack, I think are very much present in this car. So not for me, unfortunately. There's learning curves, and then there's this. I seem to catch onto the other two cars, not make them fast, but at least get them around a track very quickly. But this one, I don't know. Maybe it's set up. I don't know, just not for me. Alright guys, hate to end on a negative note like that, but the other two cars were absolutely fantastic and I had a great time, but this Porsche, just not for me for whatever reason. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.